Happened in the 90s.
Matt was the fat kid, Steve was the black kid. Life wasn't always great, but you know what was? The 90s. Happened in the 90s. Yeah!
Snack cracker?
I'd rather eat dust.
They're Munchums, New Southwestern style.
How cute.
Flavors as big and bold as Texas. There's salsa flavor and chili cheese flavor.
How'd they get such a big, bold taste?
Elves.
Elves.
Ask the new cook.
Howdy, partners.
Great hat, huh?
I've been on the range too long.
Keebler Snack Crackers, uncommonly good.
Because that's how I do, Steve.
Well, happy Kobe Bryant Day to you, Matt.
Kobe Bryant Day, Steve.
Yeah, it's
rest in peace.
A proposed federal holiday in the United States, reference to his two jersey numbers, 8 and 24, as well as it being a day after his actual birthday, born in August 23rd.
Wow.
So happy belated birthday. So it was R.I.P. to the great one, man.
Oh,
8/24 is also the birthday of two goats, Dave Chappelle and Vince McMahon. Like,
man,
goats in their own right.
What's going on that day? That's three all-time legends of different things, but man, Dave Chappelle or Vince McMahon, Steve, who do you want on your business team? It's tough.
I mean, the goat. When I die, I want to go to hell.
Damn, happy birthday to Vince and Dave Chappelle. But man, yeah, wow. Kobe, Vince, Dave Chappelle.
Well, Kobe was 8/23.
Oh, yeah, okay. But still,
it's Kobe
Vince
Bean
and
Bryant
Dave
Day.
Chappelle. I need to look up what happened on my birthday because there ain't that level of greatness on that shit, Steve.
I'm glad you asked, because I talked to my friend over the week, ladies and gentlemen, and he was, throwing some salt on his B-Day. And I was like, no, man, great things have happened. Just monstrous proportions. Things of just great magnitude happen on 7/27. And I will find those things and I will tell you, Matthew. And I didn't lie. I got you, man.
Oh, wow.
Did you know, Matthew?
I thought you didn't have anything, Steve. I was about to say.
Hey.
Okay.
Did you know, Matt? On July 27, 1905, Leo DeRuscher, American baseball player and manager, was born. Yeah.
Okay. That's not tipping. That's not even moving the scales, Steve.
That's not moving the scale yet. I'm sorry. It was the day he died.
Okay.
It was the day he died. But hey, in 1922, this is something you should be proud of. 1922, American screenwriter and producer Norman Lear was born. And Norman Lear is on the Mount Rushmore, not just of like sitcoms, you could probably say of like modern television. Norman Lear is all in the family. Sanford and Son, the Jeffersons, and the spinoffs of the Mauds, the Good Times, all of this stuff, the hits.
Okay, I mean that's royalty. I don't know if the name should ring some bells. It's not the biggest. It's not like it's not a Scott Hall.
one of my favorite Jews of all time. But also Jerry Van Dyke, Dick's little brother, American actor from Coach, born in 1931, July 27th. In 1940, July 27th, Bugs Bunny, Warner Brothers cartoon character created by Tex Avery and Bob Gibbons, makes his debut on Wild Hair. That's the goat of cartoon characters, my
That is that. I will give, okay, pat on the birthday back to that.
1948, Peggy Fleming. You share birthdays with American figure skater and sportscaster Peggy Fleming, as well as Yahoo series. Australian actor, director, producer, and screenwriter Yahoo series. 1957, Bill Engvall was born. American comedian, actor, and producer. Yeah, oh man, come on now. Rex Brown, born in 1964, the American bass player and songwriter for Pantera. Down. Hey, but you're gonna love this though. In 1969, July 27th, American wrestler and actor Triple H, The Game.
Okay, there we go. There's a contemporary, Steve. I like that. Wait, when was this?
1969, July 27th.
Yeah, damn. Triple H is that old? Damn,
Where's
Triple
it well?
H. He does.
On July 27, 1972, Maya Rudolph was born. That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. Maya Rudolph, she's a babe. She's hilarious. Okay. Okay, I'm following in line, Steve. I like this.
And did you know, Matt, the day you were born, Madonna makes her debut. She's like one of the icons of the icons.
That's hot. That's hot. But you know, I'm just down on myself, Steve. What do you want? Okay. I just like to talk shit about me. Okay. I'm sorry.
Just a couple more. When you turned 1 year old, Matt, in 1984, Prince's first film, Purple Rain, is released.
Wow, that's hot. I was born. This is a very sexual vibe going on here. I like this.
And on that same day, Metallica drops Ride the Lightning. I don't know how you feel about that.
I'm into that. I like Metallica. I'm into some James Hetfield. I like that shit. Oh yeah. July 27th.
Yeah. On that same day in 84, Max Scherzer, the pitcher with the multicolored eyes, he was a World Series winner, and he's a Cy Young winner, man. He's a bad motherfucker. American baseball player was born. And when you turned 5 in 88, Ryan Tannehill was born. So I don't know, take that for what it's worth.
Mediocrity,
but, you know.
Okay. We share the same, me and Tannehill though. T-Dog. I feel like Bugs Bunny, that's it, Steve. That's my Vince McMahon, you know? But Vince and Dave, I mean, those are two kings. Bugs Bunny and Prince. Ooh.
Prince and Madonna? Come on now. This is 80. Like, you know, she ran the fucking 80s. When it came to that pop shit, it was her and Mike and Prince.
Well, thank you, Steve. I gotta say, you know, I offhandedly talk shit about my birthday, and you come with the facts as always, and feel pretty good. I think I'm gonna celebrate Bugs Bunny's debut on the next birthday, on the next go around, 41.
Y'all got that in common, man. That's
pretty dope. I mean, I never knew that. I've gone 40 years and I never knew that the debut of fucking Bugs himself on the same day. That's pretty fucking awesome.
That bunny is the GOAT.
Yeah. Also, speaking of, we've been talking about ducks and shit recently, like how the prevalence of ducks. And I saw like some YouTube like compilation of 90s cartoons. Do you remember one where it was like a vampire duck that was like sort of like, it was like Count Duckula, I believe.
Count Duckula, yeah, that was on Nickelodeon with Danger Mouse. They had like, because that was that British animation.
The theme song is fucking fire, Steven. I think Vincent Price does like the narration, which is weird. But
I think it's awesome.
Yet another fucking duck thing that was going on. It's astounding. I don't know what it was. Fuck a mouse, fuck even a bunny, ducks. If it was the 90s, they were just pumping these fucking things out with ducks.
They're good to have on clothing too. Like I remember the Miami Hurricanes logo or their mascot, people wearing those. And we lived in Ohio in the 90s. I remember seeing those starter jackets just because, I mean, I'll admit, man, you know, the Ducks, even though I don't care for Florida colleges, their programs as a university, as a label, fuck them and as a record loop. But anyways, sidetrack. The Ducks, it looked good on the emblem.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what it was about ducks though. It's just like they could have picked any fucking thing and made it look cool. I mean, we went to a college with a falcon. The falcon looked pretty fucking dope. But throw a duck on it. In this case, throw some fucking vampire fangs and a goofy fucking weird cape on it. You got yourself a show, Steve. And I totally forgot about it. And then I heard the theme song and it was like an acid flashback. I was like, wait, what? I remember.
How does it go?
In the heart of Transylvania, In the Vampire Hall of Fame, yeah, there's not a vampire as any other.
They show them where they're making them, and ketchup goes in the mix, and that's like the whole explanation, I think. So
he's living down the legacy of like Dracula's.
Other Count Duculas, I guess. Like they have like those like old school pictures in the hallway, and it goes through all these real terrifying looking ducks, and then it's just him, and he looks like a chud. So I think that's the overall thing. He's overcoming chudliness.
There's a lot we can learn from that show, probably.
The tough guys of Comedy Central.
You met your match today, Fish. Man 1, Fish 0. Sucker!
Get tough with the kids in the hall. Next. Can't you just smell the testosterone?
So, hey, boys and girls, this is Steve G and Mad G with Happened in the 90s, a show where we talk about what happened in the 90s. So get out your hard target and your can't hardly wait, because this is for the cool. This is for the chill. This is for the cool. This is for the chill. That was the hook. Like Babyface, man, like he doesn't get enough props, but he's a legend in the game, dude. And like he was dropping some heat in the 90s, especially around this time. Like LaFace Records.
LaFace Records, dude. LaFace Incorporated.
LaFace. Hell yeah. Because this is for the cool. This is for the chill. I feel like I know they played this song in one of the Urkel episodes.
Hell yeah, dude. You know,
like,
Stefan Urkel listens to Babyface.
Like Babyface probably wrote that for Stefan Urkel. This is for the cool. This is for oh my god, this blast sounds close to
dude, I love that. I love that too. Like just singing panty droppers, and the name is Babyface too. You're just coming out there just smooth, ice cold. That's a Dirk Diggler moment, Steve.
This is for the cool. Today, my friend, we're talking about all things August 24th in the 90s. Starting off in 1990, After Dark, My Sweet premieres. After he escapes from a mental hospital, a former boxer works for a widow. When she asks him to get involved in a kidnapping, he has second thoughts. Directed by James Foley, starring Jason Patric, Rachel Ward, Bruce Dern, and George Dickerson.
Jay Patrick, 90s heartthrob. I mean, this sounds pretty standard, generic movie, Steve. What do you think?
It wasn't bad, man. It's available on Tubi, and there's flashbacks of him being in the ring. His nickname was the Kid, and he ends up like just going to town on his opponent, man, just beating the fuck out of him. Like so many blows to the head, man. It leads him to being kind of like, a sandwich short of a picnic. And so cut to present day, and he's talking to this lady and the bartender or whatever, and he just snaps on the bartender, knocks him the fuck out after like I think there was a disagreement of some sort, man. And then she's amused by that. He ends up having like a little thing going on with her. She picks him up on the side of the road, and unbeknownst to him, her uncle would come in, and he recognizes Jason Patric as the boxer back in the day. Like, he used to do this, that, and the third. Hey, by the way, man, you want to help me kidnap this millionaire's kid? And so it's really about that. They end up finding the kid. The first time he went and got the kid, he got the wrong kid. And then eventually he got the right kid. And but Bruce Dern,
damn, you get a second shot when you kidnap the wrong kid. I mean, I feel like after that's strike 1, 2, and 3. You can't do that. You can't give that guy another shot.
And Bruce Dern, who plays the chick's uncle, he's like an actual retired cop. So he's actually a piece of shit. I mean, the fact that he wants to kidnap a kid and do that, hold him for ransom money and shit. And I don't want to spoil it because actually a decent movie, man. I mean, Roger Ebert, he put it on his great movies list. Take that for what it's worth.
I just never, Jason Patric to me pissed me off because he's a guy you can tell was just like beautiful his whole life. It's like, dude, come on. I couldn't get the jawline at least. Like this guy was just blessed. And then I don't know, every movie I've ever seen, he's just kind of he's a tough guy, but he's like too beautiful to be that for me.
So it's pure hatred for you.
It basically is. I'm just hating, but I don't know. Maybe I will check this out. When I read it, I was like, it just sounds so fucking generic. It can't be good. But you're telling me otherwise. So,
My thoughts exactly. I hesitated. That's a part of the reason why, like, I feel like I was behind. I crammed everything into one day, it seems, man, as far as preparing for the show, because it's like I can't start on the first movie. I'll just watch it tomorrow. Like after dark, eventually I gotta watch this shit. You don't have to, Steve. Do it. Be fair.
Well, it was just because when I read like something that's like boxer beats a guy, all this stuff, it's just like sounds like some like Pulp Fiction ripoff shit. But I'm gonna check this out, and I'm gonna reconsider my hatred of Jason Patrick because he probably is a good actor. Brad Pitt's handsome. It's not his fault. He's a good actor. So I just gotta stop. Stop it, Matt.
He didn't ask for it.
Yeah, it's not his fault.
And on that same day, August 24th, Darkman premieres. A brilliant scientist left for dead returns to exact revenge on the people who burned him alive. Directed by Sam Raimi, starring bitch-ass Liam Neeson. Yeah, I ain't forgot that shit, motherfucker. Frances McDormand, Colin Friels, and Larry Drake.
Who is Frances McDermott?
She is Miss Fargo. She is with Billboards of Wisconsin. She is a key contributor to the Coen franchise, the Coen filmography. And speaking of the Coen brothers, they helped Sam Raimi doctor the final edits of the script, man. So there's some greatness. There's some winners that were a part of this film, man. And even Danny Elfman contributed the score.
It's insane. Because it's a 90s movie. They had so much to work with, but yeah, it is a weird one. The character of Darkman, like all the bandages and shit, like it does look pretty cool in some cases, but it's kind of just like a cheeseball ass movie. I honestly, as big of a fan of Sam Raimi as I am, I don't think I ever remembered or clocked too much that he was involved in this, or Danny Elfman. That's fucking insane. Multiple Oscar winner and shit.
Yeah, well, as a kid, I don't know when you watched it, man, but did you really pick up the score? We didn't know about that stuff as kids.
But I mean, when I was into film and like just deep diving people, like I used to like, especially like during when we were in college and Sam Raimi was making like Spider-Man movies and shit. I went back, I was watching like Evil Dead, I was watching the Sam Raimi catalog, and I just forgot or just never really locked into the fact that he made Darkman, because I think I saw Darkman, like you said, super young, probably too young. So maybe that's even why I never went back and watched it. But yeah, Liam Neeson, a lot of early. It's crazy, that whole Liam Neeson shit. That's fucking so stupid. What an idiot.
Yeah, man. And speaking of that bitch, Bill Paxton was almost cast in that role, but according to Paxton, he told his friend Liam Neeson about the audition. When Neeson got the role, Paxton was so angry that he did not speak to Neeson for months.
Damn, he stole this shit from Billy Pax?
Your boy.
Well, that's
I
done.
told you he's a bitch.
That's done now. You crossed off if you weren't already, Liam, you crossed off the list, son.
Yeah. And
Qui-Gon Jinn, dude. Fuck his ass.
Yeah. But Schindler's List, man, fuck him. Like, so Larry Drake, he looks very ominous in this film. And his character, Durant, I guess he returned. He was in a helicopter, the helicopter crashed, but I guess he didn't die from that. So they made a sequel with him in it. Bitch ass Liam Neeson wasn't a part of the sequel. But that happened in 95, and then they made one based around the Durant character after that.
And they took the Darkman franchise. Who knew it was going to turn into a franchise?
It shouldn't have. But Also in 1990, Delta Force 2, The Colombian Connection premieres. When DEA agents are taken captive by a ruthless South American kingpin, the Delta Force is reunited to rescue them in the sequel to the 1986 film. Directed by Aaron Norris, starring Chuck Norris, John P. Ryan, Paul Perry, Richard Jackal, and Billy Mercado. Alex, I'll take things in 1990 no one fucking asked for 200.
I don't know, man. Chuck Norris, Sonia loved the guy. You know, feel like women over a certain age thought he was handsome. I never got it.
It's
I never got it. We love us some Walker Texas Ranger. Back in the day,
I'll give you that.
We enjoyed that, right? And even the funny meme shit where it's like Chuck Norris doesn't get sick. He makes people, whatever the fuck, that dumb shit. Yeah. But these Delta Force, I remember going back and seeing some of these old fucking like 90s and 80s action movies this dude was in, and it just is like hilarious, dude. It's like, why is somebody's stepdad shooting this gun?
Why are y'all wasting this much money, Hollywood? Like, this is such a fucking like flush. Like, 5 crew members died doing this.
Oh my God, no!
Exactly.
On a Chuck Norris flick?
On a Chuck Norris flick. They got killed in a helicopter accident during filming, man. And so not only does the movie suck, it killed people.
That's
there was no reason. No one asked for this in 1990. Absolutely nobody. Even Chuck Norris himself says that he did not like this movie. And he shouldn't have.
What the Chuck? You can't say that. You can't fucking shit. I mean, dudes, people died making Delta Force 2. Can you imagine? Like, it's not like a guy in a military truck giving you a folded up flag. Some mother had to be like, what? And they're like he died protecting Chuck Norris. It's like, wait, what?
Dude, yeah, of the ways to go, man. And Aaron Norris, the director, that's his brother. And I will say this for Aaron and Chuck, in fairness to them, they gave blood at the hospital to try to save the crew members, man.
Damn. But I mean, least you could have at least it would die on the first one, guys. Delta Force 2, like the box office didn't even pay him.
They didn't even pay him back.
I mean, that's rough. I mean, one death on a crew, that's tough. 5, Steve?
5, bro.
Alec Baldwin shot a bitch and won. These people killed 5. He had Walker Texas Ranger a couple years later.
And one of the actors was on that helicopter, John P. Ryan. I mean, he survived.
This is not funny at all. It's not. I don't want. I laugh when I get uncomfortable, Steve. And the fact people died making Delta Force 2 makes me uncomfortable. I'm sorry, but it's wild that even who was the fucking studio exec? Somebody else with the last name Norris? Because it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, stepdad or something. But also in 1990, Men at Work premieres. 2 garbage men uncover a conspiracy involving illegal toxic waste dumping and decide to bring the whole operation down. Directed by Emilio Estevez, starring Charlie Sheen, Emilio Estevez, Leslie Hope, Keith David, Daryl Larson, Dean Cameron, John Getz. I don't know those last couple.
I mean, Keith David, anything with this guy, you want to like, right? And even you want to. It's Maid Marian. It's, Spawn's voice. It's the whole shebang. This guy's a legend.
But man, he's one of the few shining light. It's not even shining. It's glinting. Is that the proper where it's barely a shimmer?
Yeah, shimmer. It's like shimmering, but it's in the periph. You don't even barely notice it, Steve.
And the environment that it's shinting and shimmering in, it's toxic waste. That's it's ironic that this is about toxic waste
and garbage.
That's what this movie. Yeah, because that's what this movie was. It was garbage. It was toxic waste. And I don't know how familiar you are with the movie, but they're doing little practical bloopers and shit. And one of them was locker opens up and some shit just pops out on their coworkers.
Yeah, okay. It sounds great. It sounds awesome,
Yeah,
Steve.
it's a reflection of the movie. Like these two guys at their
that's the comedy level is just
oh, and I think they're cops that they had handcuffed to the merry-go-round at the park, and they're just like in their boxer briefs, like handcuffed to each other, and like, dude, once again, man, the reality. They just sit like so nobody see these grown men just like handcuffed to each other. Nobody's gonna come to. They just got them sitting there for like half the movie. They come back to the cops and they're like, oh, oh. They're like dry humping each other. The movie's very cringe, and like I'm very disappointed in Charlie Sheen and Emilio.
You're so Emilio directorial venture didn't go as planned, right, Steve? I mean,
they were throwing away money on August 24th, 1990. Like Hollywood execs, you asked about Hollywood execs for Delta Force 2. Hollywood execs, all of them were like, you know what, 8/24/1990 is going to be the day we just take a shit ton of money and just flush it down the drain. That's what we're going to fucking do.
Steven, I was like waiting for you to be like, and 8 people died on the film on the set of fucking Men at Work. Charlie gave 5 people AIDS, but unfortunately, that's, you know what's weird, Steve, is this is time, but for whatever reason, you know it because we're doing behind the scenes, but I thought this was a good movie, or at least like Hot Shots level, you know, like something that okay, well,
at least with Hot Shots, it's intended to parody. That's the intent, to be a parody,
like Loaded Weapon, where it's like goofy
Loaded
shit.
Weapon.
Yeah, this is just not that. It's not.
This is trying to be a straight up comedy. It tried to be a straight up comedy. That's what it did.
Wow, garbage and toxic waste, Steve. Like you said, that's your review. That's Steve G's review. Put that on the box. ... Steve G of Happened in the 90s says toxic waste and garbage.
And also in 1990, The Witches premieres. A young boy stumbles into a witch convention and must stop them, even after he has been turned into a mouse. Directed by Nicholas Roeg, starring Angelica Houston, Mae Zetterling, and Rowan Atkinson.
What the fuck's going on here, Steve?
Well, that's how you can tell they're witches, you know, because the town, they're just scattered all over, man. Some are regular, just old, nice women, but you got to look into the eyes.
Well, also clearly they're all balding looking in this photo behind you. So look for the ones that fucking, they got a dome on them.
Well, yeah, they're not bald in public because this is when they're inside the witches convention and the doors are locked. And then they pull their wigs off. Some of them have to pull their skin off. And that's what Angelica Houston did. She went from this to this.
Hollywood magic, Steve. Angelica, that's what she really looks like. This is actually just a day in the life. I love also 90s logic where these are witches. They have powers, they can pull their skin off, but they have to show up to a building like a Holiday Inn, a convention center, and have a convention, Steve. Got to get together just sometimes.
Just like a multi-marketing company or something.
The dragon's tooth is much too expensive now.
Like, what do they talk about? Like, what happens at a witches convention?
Well, at this one, the objective was pretty simple. Kill kids.
Let us kill kids. That's it.
You see them? Kill them. Basically, like her agenda, Miss Angelica Houston, is fuck kids. Let's turn them into mice, and then from there, we could kill them too. We can kill the mice, we can stomp on them, we can torture them. Put them in our little mini mouse chamber.
Put them in someone's butt.
But first and foremost, eliminate them from kid form.
Damn, why do witches and kids just not get along? They're either trying to throw you in a fucking oven or whatever. It's like, get over it, ladies.
They're here.
Fuck kids. Welcome to Witch Convention 2023. New business? Fuck kids. That is all. The mixer is in 20 minutes.
Team building programs.
Everyone break off into teams of 5.
So what did your team come up with? Fuck kids. What did your team come up with? Fuck kids. What did your team come up with? Fuck kids.
How about you, Estelle? We were thinking more about a pension for witches that need to retire. Shut up!
Oh, witches.
She likes to rock the broom. Keep your eye on that one.
We need to unionize, guys. Get her out of here.
We have a voice too. Oh man. Like sidetracks. But this is the last film that Jim Henson personally oversaw. So shout out to that. And you know, that he has his look, man. You could tell when it's Henson convention.
I always wondered, like, did Henson Company ever get into like fully, you know, like K&B effects, like these people that do like special effects makeup and like special like gore effects, and did they ever get into like that side of it too?
What you talking about, like Labyrinth?
I mean, I get, but it's always was like puppetry and shit. I guess it did involve the makeup as well, but it just like seems like they were never mentioned in like the same way like a Stan Winston or something gets mentioned for like movie special. You know what I'm talking about? Like that kind of like almost like horror level shit. I guess Labyrinth would sort of be in there.
From what I remember, that's probably like the closest to that for what you're describing, man. And then he didn't have enough time. I believe he passed in his 50s, maybe 60. But
Jim.
But also in 1990, a judge rules that heavy metal band Judas Priest is not responsible for the actions of 2 Nevada youths who shot themselves, one fatally, after listening to the band's music in December of '85. But he did declare that their music sucks.
It's on the docket. I don't like Judas Priest, Steve. I always thought it was kind of weird, or the vibe was weird. I do think the main dude, has a pretty funny sense of humor about shit. He's, you know, pretty in on the joke and everything, because he's gay, right?
He's gay, yeah. Rob Halford.
Rob Halford, that's the dude. But yeah, I always just thought anything regarding music and like, I don't know, hidden messages and shit like that, making people do shit. It's so fucking stupid. It's like they're just fucking fucked up people. It's like Rob Halford's fucked up music didn't make this guy do this shit. It's just weird music.
He's doing it because he's fucking his mom. But in 1992, once again, we're in the Russo household because, man, hey, Slim Pickens in late August. Blossom is airing the episode No Cure for Love. Nick is cleaning the house while Vinnie and Blossom want different things from their relationship. Joey fears it was his fault a girl he dumped got into an accident. Whoa. Still no whoa in this episode.
I mean, what the fuck? When did the whoa go out of style? And I thought that was the whole fucking thing. In my opinionation, Steve. But anyway, you know,
that was the did I do that?
For me, it was a nice leather jacket, flannel combo, and a nice whoa on top, cherry on top. That's what you wanted out of a Blossom. That's the fucking exclamation point. We didn't get it again. 3 weeks in a row. Watch the show 3 weeks in a row, Steve. And people out there saying to themselves, guys, why'd you do a Blossom hat trick? Guys, you're hearing we're scraping the barrel here. We're at the bottom, we're scraping it, and the scrapings are all Blossom related.
Come on, September, with that new fall schedule.
Yeah, please. But you know, we get some fun shit in this. It's not Grandpa beating it to some fucking hidden porno, but as we get started here, Mr. Russo, he's on a cleaning kick, Steve. It's been ages since the house has been cleaned. He's got a fucking alcoholic. He's got a kid busting nuts all over the place. And Blossom's probably doing some weird, like, science experiment shit. She's making a mess. So he's clean.
Getting his Danny Tanner on.
Yeah. He's got to fucking scrub it.
And while he's cleaning the house, pieces of furniture fall on him. Ha ha ha! He doesn't know handle. He can't handle appliances. And then cue that classic fucking theme song because, in my opinion, nation, it just is. And we cut back to the Russo household, and we see that Tony Baloney, he's saved Rhonda, his girlfriend's hair, in this brush because he's just got creepo vibes like that.
Yeah, I mean, pulling single hairs out. I mean, I've been heartbroken, Steve, but pulling hairs out of a brush, that's some next. That's not serial. Well, it is serial killer level shit because he's saving them, Steve. He's cataloging the hairs. And Blossom, while her brother and is still recovering from his alcoholic relapse, let us not forget. She's like, it's funny. You're broken up. That sucks. But me, Vinny, shit is just so good. Life is so fucking good. It's cool to be in a relationship, right, Tony? Oh.
Hey, you don't know nothing about that.
Yeah, sorry about that. Oh, but don't go back to the booze. You're depressed. Just keep fucking sniffing that weird hair collection you got there. Whatever.
Fuck her up, Buttercup. You'll be all right. Shit happens every day, B. We'll find the one.
Yeah, I mean, and he's just sort of in his feelings. And it doesn't get any more good for him when Six comes in. She's like, you know what's fucking crazy, guys? I just saw fucking Luke Perry. And I think he was with some chick that looked like Rhonda. And fucking Tony's like, where's the pop off? Where's the cooking sherry? Give me some light or some fucking some mouthwash. I'm drinking it because Rhonda's fucking deep dicking fucking Luke Perry.
And while this is going on, Joey comes back from his date with a girl named Sybil. And you can tell immediately that Joey wasn't feeling her because he's just like, yeah, the date, yeah, it was a date, motherfucker. Stop asking me questions. Then we later find out that he's a vegetarian. She's a vegetarian and he hates being around vegetarians because they always make you feel guilty. Yeah, I can't eat this barbecue sandwich. I can't eat this chicken salad. God damn, can't even eat animal crackers.
She's a downer, Steve. Sybil's, I mean, just the name Sybil. It just sounds like, sorry, Murphy Brown, but, or was that Murphy? Not Murphy Brown. Sybil, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
I
talking
know you're talking about.
Steve.
Sybil Shepherd.
There you go. Sybil fucking Shepherd. It just has like it sounds weird. It's like having somebody named like Esther or something. You just don't, it seems old.
Another boomer ass name. And the reason you said Murphy Brown, because they both showed up on that CBS boomer ass fucking channel.
Yeah, you're right about that. And Tony and Dad are just sort of, so yeah, he's just not feeling Sybil at all. And it's funny because, like you said, Joey's very, even at whatever age he is, he's like a old cocksman now. He's like, yeah, I fucking went on a date, whatever. She's fine. She loves me. I hate her, whatever. I'm going to, he's very dismissive of this chick. So he's already in one date. It figured it out and wants to get out of it immediately. So I think we've all been there, but Joey's ready to go. Yeah.
And Vinnie and Blossom, they come back from a date later, and we find out that Vinnie, he's not trying to tell anyone about their relationship. He's trying to keep her on the hush hush. He's not trying to be exclusive. He feels locked down, trapped. Like he's got to bite his leg off.
Dude, Vinny, you were just like 2 weeks ago taking this bitch on a romantic rendezvous, and now this? I never fell for a smart chick. Get out of stop! I need some space. Jesus Christ, Vinny.
Maybe you are a scumbag.
I think he is, Steve. Ted from fucking Hey Dude. These motherfuckers have no manners. These aren't gentlemen. Vinny's not a gentleman like I thought.
Yeah, in my opinion, Asian, Dad needs to kick his ass. And the Russo brothers.
And also Vinny's like, yeah, I feel like trapped, like an animal trying to chew his leg off. It's like, Jesus fucking, what happened? You were just kissing with this bitch.
I think we need to see other people.
But, right, at some point, I think it actually happened before this, or like it was being talked about. Rhonda eventually comes back to Tony. Tony and they reunite. And one thing I think is hilarious is that, Rhonda says, oh, while we were broken up, I did this, that, and the other, something pretty normal. And Tony reveals to her that he's been saving a brush with her hair in it and collecting her hair. And she's like, he even shows her the brush and she's like, that's not my fucking hair.
Yeah.
So Tony's been beating it to some other person's hair. Who knows whose, Steve?
And now the tables have turned. And Blossom, she's feeling a certain way on the outs with her dude. She comes in and she ain't trying to hear none of that lovey-dovey shit. She's mocking Tony. Oh, I love you, pretty bird.
Love's a joke.
Yeah. Fuck some love. Don't talk to me about no love. Fuck you, Joe. Fuck you, Tony.
Yeah, and she's just a sad sack, dude. And she just wants to, she's like, I don't fucking fuck him. But whenever you're done with all this love shit, I need you to run me over to Tony or Vinny's house so I can just make sure his car's in the driveway. Because I just need to know that. Fuck him, but I just want to make sure that he's not having a good time.
And then Joey comes in and we find out that the brush was his.
Whoa. Dude, you've been licking my hair. That's crazy. Whoa. So yeah, Tony's again just a weird fucking the Russo name is embarrassed by Tony. Joey's comeback also, I think he's broken up with Sybil at this point. And while him and Tony are talking, Tony gets a call, which is, I find this strange, but maybe, I don't know, maybe there's an explanation here somewhere. From his, he gets a call from his EMT buddy, Steve, and turns out Joey's now ex, Sybil, or whatever, got in a car accident. She's beaten up. She's in bad shape.
Just ironically happened to pick up the phone call and her ex is just standing right in front of him. And, it's just a small world, Matt. That's my explanation, my opinionation.
And Joey immediately, well, I agree. And Joey immediately is like, whoa, like she must have gotten fucking depressed and wanted to kill herself because I left her, so I got to go visit. Pretty
How vain
presumptuous.
is this?
Yeah, damn, dude.
I feel like I know someone like this. Like, oh.
I know a lot of people like this, but not like, this is almost like clinically fucked up level of vainness here, Steve. Like he's so dumb and vain that he just doesn't see how fucked up it is. But he does think that it's his fault, which I do love. Of course it's his fault. He dicked this chick down. He took it away, and of course the only thing this chick can do now is try to kill herself because life's never
can't live
be
with
that
herself.
good.
Yeah, it'll never be this good ever again.
And right after this, Steve, I also have to point out, I think it's like right after what we're talking about, we talk about these funny like falling body gags where it's clearly like a dummy. And at some point, like there's this running gag through this where Mr. Russo's constantly doing like these crazy things to clean his house. He falls on some furniture. He uses like some sort of buffer, and he almost like flies out a window or something on that. And in this, he does fall out of a window just in the background. People are talking, but we see like this body fall down, and it's comical, Steve. It's clearly not a human, but it's great.
I'm so glad you clocked that, man. Yeah, I appreciate that shit so much. It's just, it never fails, man. Even if it's a mini chuckle, I'm gonna chuckle.
It's like farting. It's like it's just there. There's some sort of like instinct deep inside humans that's always going to be a funny fucking thing.
Just like, I know that's not a person, but that makes it's like we're all in on the joke.
And now Blossom's like completely depressed. She's wondering what went wrong, and Six is trying to get her out of it, but Blossom doesn't want to do anything. She's like,
yeah,
I don't want to do that because Vinny, blah, 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 because Vinny. And through this conversation, Blossom basically comes to the probably correct thought that the reason Vinny doesn't want to be with her exclusively is that she's not willing to give it up. She's not willing to. She's, come on, baby. He's that guy in South Park. Come on, Skylar. Just no. Skylar. He's Skylar, Steve.
When she realizes that, she's like, you know what? Fuck him. He could go find somebody to fuck. Won't be
But
me.
here's the crazy thing, Steve. This is how fucking suave that Ted from Hey Dude Vinny is. Because what I didn't really understand was that it wasn't a breakup. It's that, hey, we're going to still see each other, but you know what? I need to see some other people. So, like, even Blossom, even in her head, is like, fuck him, but still willing to go see him. And I love that because I've been like the nice guy that's just watching this kind of shit happen. And this is pretty accurate to some people's behaviors, Steve. Let's put it like that.
When
You
you're waiting
know?
in line, it's like, yeah, he fucked up. It's my turn now. Oh, you still.
You're like, yeah, man, he's a fucking piece of shit. She's like, next day, this. So I just thought that was funny. And I think Vinny, obviously, he's got some sort of hold on Blossom, but it's loosening a little bit. Because later, and I think she even says that to Blossom. She's like, it's going to be so weird when I hang out with Vinny tomorrow because it's not going to be the same. So she's already, she knows it. So we cut. And they're coming back, and Vinny's laying the Mac down, Steve. He's getting some kisses. They're getting some smooches. But Blossom's smart. She's playing some 3D chess on this dumb fucking rube of a dude and is like, oh, yeah, the other day, me and Six were going out and met these guys. Oh, I shouldn't tell you about this because they're not supposed to tell each other about the shit when they're not together. So she starts playing
That's
Vinny.
the agreement. Yeah.
You know?
And but she doesn't fully tell him because she's bullshit. And he's starting to get in his feels, and they eventually kiss, because he was just like, I just meant me. I could see on other people, not you. And
I love that. I love when this motherfucker even just says that.
Straight up.
You can't say you can't, that's some shit you say in your head, maybe, but he's like, no, I thought the whole thing was like, I get to see some shit. I get to do my thing, and you can't do shit. I thought that was the deal.
That's Zach Morris 101 level of thinking.
This is the Dennis system or what is Sind or whatever Dennis is on now. This is some next level fucking male shit that Vinny's trying to pull. But Blossom's too smart for that, Steve. And he gets her all up and fucked up, or she fucks him all up because he's like, who's the fucking dude? He's all you can, and she's loving that. So
yeah,
who's smarter? Blossom, obviously. Vinny, it's only a matter of time here. I feel like he's going to get kicked. If we watch another 2 episodes of this show, Vinny's gone, Steve.
No, man. We really have to put Blossom to bed, just like her and Six at the end of this episode as they're discussing their alibis. Like, so if anyone asks, like, what kind of guys were we seeing? What school did they go to? Like, what were their names? Were they cute? Were they all right? Were they hot? Like, they're going all over that. But like I said, this is nap time, Blossom. See you sometime in the future, but it cannot be in the near future because we like you, but we don't love you like that.
Why do I say goodbye to Blossom? Steve, don't look at me like that. I'm just trying to let Blossom know we'll be back, baby.
Yeah, I'm saying we're only in 92, man, and we got some real estate to cover, buddy. Somebody who probably didn't watch this episode of Blossom is probably the residents of Homestead, Florida, because Hurricane Andrew makes landfall there as a Category 5 hurricane, causing up to $25 billion in damages.
That was one of the biggies, like natural disaster wise, when we were a kid. Hurricane Andrew was definitely that. That was the Katrina of the 90s, basically, I feel like.
Totally, man. We heard about it all the way up there in Ohio, man. And, this was record breaking until Hurricane Katrina. I think this was the top dog.
Yeah, I think it was for a while because it was fucking huge. I mean, like you said, we didn't have the internet. All we had was news, and this made national news and made Toledo news. So, it's only gotten worse though. The weather's just getting worse and worse. So now this probably minuscule in comparison, but.
Word to Al Gore. That following year in 1993, Babyface releases For the Cool in You. This is for the chill. It's for the cool. And this one also has "When Can I See You Again? When can my heart beat again? I know what you're saying, baby, but it's not making sense. So when can I see you?" It's got some hit, man. Some heat.
Just a low key, just baby making music, Steve.
It really is.
I
Get
love
your
it.
Stefan Urkel on. In '94, Larry Sanders Show is airing like no business, I know. An appearance by Bobcat Goldthwait creates tension. Hank entertains a job offer from Regis Philbin.
This was a great episode. And this actually brings up a great thing that happened in the 90s as a byproduct, where, Bobcat Goldthwait it was a weird enigma of a human being. He's pretty normal now. He's a director and whatnot. But back in the day, he did a lot of weird, like he had a weird persona. And then he started doing wacky shit on talk shows. One of which was trying to burn down the Jay Leno set in the middle of an interview, which actually happened. And then they play off that in this. And in the beginning of this episode, Larry, Holly, and Arthur are out watching it, like getting, like almost prepping, like they're getting ready to get into a battle with this dude. Like, oh, this fucking is crazy because he's about to be on the show,
And he also did that on Arsenio, if I'm not mistaken. Like that was Bobcat's thing. He'd show up on a talk show and he tried to cause some damage because, as we all know, controversy sells. And we also have Regis Philbin. He's playing a cameo, and what he does in this episode is somewhat Machiavellian. Yeah, it's like, damn, Regis, how you just going to come on another man's show and just try to you know what? Very Vince McMahon of him. Put it that way.
I'm an evil genius.
Same difference, I guess.
Yeah, Regis is out here trying to poach. But Larry Sanders Show, Steve, we talked about this quite a bit pretty recently too. And this is another good one. Because as they're preparing for that, Hank's sort of off on his own, getting ready for the show, and he's sort of he's just being a diva. He's like, the mic's not right, nothing's right. And then Regis shows up, and it seems like Regis and Hank, they know each other somehow, because Regis he's all love, Steve. He's the only one paying Hank any fucking respect. Hank doesn't get any respect, and Regis he's fucking all smiles.
And Regis has some great news. He just had his offer for his own show, and he needs a co-host. And he likes Hank so much that, he offers him a slot as the co-host. And Hank's honored, and he's honored, too. But his undying loyalty won't let him leave Larry Sanders Show.
Ride or dies, Steve. He looks Reg in the face. Looks at opportunity, says, "I can't do it. Sorry, Reg. I gotta go. He just runs away from his ass.
I holla at you. And Bobcat Goldthwait, he's backstage talking to Larry. And Larry, he wants to talk about the obvious. Bobcat's like, "No, man, legal charges pending. I'm not really trying to." Like, everybody's expecting me to talk about that because that's been the thing recently. So I'd rather not. You know what? Let's talk about a movie or some shit. We got this project.
Let's talk about, whatever. What was the movie he was in? Was Police Academy. Let's talk about Police Academy 10.
Unhappily Ever After. That show on WB. I'm the little fucking furry dog cat, whatever the fuck that was supposed to be.
And I'm dicking down that hot chick too. We in there. But yeah, he doesn't want Larry to bring up the Leno shit. And then Arthur comes in, and he's a producer, Steve. He puts on a smile. Larry leaves, and he's like, "Yeah, so listen, if you fuck up and do anything to this fucking say," he tries to lay down the law. He's like, "Listen, dude, if you fuck up these seats, I can't get this upholstery anymore. So you better keep it on the level, bud. I'm watching you."
Arthur he's anticipating this shit. Arthur is 100,000% with the shits.
Yeah, he's a fucking vet, Steve. He's been in Hollywood forever at this point, so he's seen it all. He's like, "You're all this fucking funny shit you're pulling. You ain't fucking lighting my set on fire, you bitch." So anyway, and then we go back to Hank's office, And this character that we meet in this is hilarious. Hank has like this ancient agent who's like
Sid.
150 years old named Sid. And now you brought him in. Well, he didn't bring him in. Hank's wife brought him in to discuss this whole Regis thing because he needs to consider it, it seems like.
Yeah, and Sid is played by Phil Leeds, and they say that character actor is the best. Like, he was the guy, one of the guys who like personified character actor, man. R.I.P. He's a legend in the game. He pops up on a lot of great 90s sitcoms and previous decade sitcoms, man, that we've grown to love. But he already has the scoop on Regis. He knows that he wants to give Hank the slot as a co-host on the show, but Hank has other plans. He's like, you know what? How about I take Regis's old slot with Kathy Lee? And Sid tells him, Kathy Lee doesn't like you. I guess there was a time in 79 where you locked her inside of the trunk of a car. And he's like, no, that was Kathy Lee Crosby. Oh, fuck, that was her.
See, but he does that later because he's like, look, you go, because Sid's like, I
That's
know
right.
Kathy
I'm
Lee.
sorry. Yeah.
So he tells Sid, he's like, look, fuck all this like nighttime shit with Regis. I want that daytime shit. So get me that. Call Kathy. Get on the phone, you ancient motherfucker. Call her up and get me that job. So Hank actually is pulling some devious shit by proxy with his wife because I think this is actually his wife's shit, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like she's a parent agent. He's
And
like a child actor.
I do like that Sid's like, he's giving, he's a good agent. He's like, look, the last time I listened to my wife, I ended up agreeing to buy some couch upholstery that I can't even sit on. So take that for what you will. So we leave it at that. Maybe there's a deal in the works. Hank's trying to pull some dirty shit here with his wife. So as we cut away from that, Arthur is talks to Larry in the hallway. And he tries to like peep him onto like this whole Regis shit that's going on. He's like, look, Hank's pulling this dirty shit, this, that, and the other. And Larry just doesn't want to hear it. He's like, look, you're dealing with it. You're dealing with it. So I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to hear it. I'm just here for the party. The host. So you deal with it.
That's your job.
Cool. We'll talk later. And that's that. And I love that. I mean, he's the star. This is why you get to be the star, Steve.
Tunnel vision. Like, this is why they pay you to do this. They pay me to do this.
Yeah. But but he's the boss and he's got to deal with it. So we cut from that back into Arthur's office. He pulls in Hank and he's like, look, dude, I know all about what the fuck's going on. This whole Regis thing, you're fucking stupid. So stop it. It's done. And Hank's like, basically he gets in it. He gets hurt feelings. It's like, you know what, dude? Fuck it. I quit. I'm done. Bye. And because he gets called pussy whipped is basically what it is.
He calls him out, and what took him over the edge is when he was like, by the way, I never liked Margaret. She looks at you like she has x-ray vision. Gives me the creeps.
And Hank's like, by the way, that thing is an extreme astigmatism. You fuck.
Yeah. Art, man, such a straight shooter. He's my favorite character on the show.
I mean, he's smart. I mean, we see by the end of this, he's a Vince McMahon level fucking dude.
Let's cut through the bullshit.
At this point, Art has now lost the second in command. He's quit. Hank has agreed to finish this last show tonight. He's like, look, I'll be classy about it, but after tonight, bud, I'm out of here. So bye. Oh, and then I think like the last funny little like exclamation on this to prove he's pussy whipped is Arthur's secretary comes in and is like, Hank, your wife's on the phone. He's like, tell her I can't come to the phone. And then he's like, wait, did she call from the car or from the house? She's like, the house. He's like, I give a shit.
I don't care.
I love that shit, dude.
Then he gets in Bobcat's face. He's like, ask me about my wife again. It's like, Bobcat's just like, what the fuck?
These people are crazy. And he basically, and then we cut back to Hank's office because now he's quit. And he comes back, sits in the chair, and Sid's sitting where he's been sitting because he can't get up too easily. And he's like, so have you, I'm full in on this Reach thing now, or whatever. I'm full in because I just quit my job. And Sid's like, okay, well, one, you know, Kathy
Kathy Lee
Lee
hates
fucking
you.
hates your guts, dude. And he's like, and he, like you said, he's like, wait, what? And Sid says this whole story and realizes it's the wrong Kathy Lee. And Hank has this moment where he's like, oh shit, no, because he realizes that his hands are in like his career's in the hands of like a 150-year-old dude who has no hand on the pulse of what's going on, really. And he's basically sunk his whole career. There's no Regis opportunity. Kathy's not in it, and he's now quit his job that he's currently working at. So I guess it's back to pulling lottery balls, Steve.
Yeah, and Sid, he suggests, hey man, why don't you just butter up the Regis? Just kiss his ass.
Yeah. Oh, that's what it is. He's like, yeah, look, Regis, the whole late night thing with him still on the table. You could still take that original thing he's offering. So even Hank's like, cool, I'm covered, whatever. So we get on the show. We get to the actual show itself. We're watching the Larry Sanders show. And of course, the first thing that happens when Bobcat Goldthwait is the guest is instead of saying nothing about this whole Leno thing, he brings it up immediately. He brings it up like it's the first thing we see him bring up, and Bobcat's not happy about it, Steve.
And he just goes the fuck off, man. He trashes the set, but then Art comes from behind and goddamn Taz plexes the Bobcat onto the couch because he was preparing for this shit. He kind of like had his finger on the trigger the whole time. He was just like sneezed wrong, and I got your ass. He told him.
He
Like,
Terry
right,
Tated his ass, dude. He Lawrence fucking tailored his ass into the couch, Steve. He wasn't having it. That upholstery's dead, Steve. You can't get that.
But before we got to Bobcat, we had the Regis interview. And after the Regis interview, Larry's like, you know what? That was awkward. We can't have him back because knowing what I know, and he doesn't want to talk about that. So, like, no, let's just not book him ever again. And Hank, he finds out the truth that, like, that show offer, it wasn't immediately. It wasn't until he was done with Kathy Lee in 97. And he's like, well, dude, it's 1994.
Yeah, I can't wait 3 years for this. Fuck, dude. So he's shitting a brick. But like he said, we get to that. Larry's like, dude, Regis, this ain't never happening again. This guy's poaching my people. He's a douche. Fuck all this. And then Bobcat tries to destroy the set. So that's basically the end. I think at some point, like Larry basically inadvertently, after all this happens, gives Hank his job back because he doesn't even really understand the full breadth of what's been going on. He's only received like a percentage of the news from Hank and brushed the rest aside because he's like, dude, you're handling it. So whatever, dude, fuck it.
There was a miscommunication of sorts, man. You know, Art telling him that the thing was handled when it really wasn't, and just Larry wanted to be unattached from all that shit. And then Hank just being Hank, man. So that just adds to the buffoonery and foolery.
But they realize, like, at the end of it, after the show, after the whole like Bobcat thing goes off, Larry does basically find out because Art's like, well, dude, he fucking quit, dude. And Larry's like, wait, what? And he's like, yeah, and then this and that and the other. So by the end, Larry does understand what happened, but he's like, whatever. He's still here. Hank's still my co-host. Like, everything wraps up in a nice bow. And then what I really love and why we see that Hank's an evil genius, or Arthur's an evil genius, and Larry's like, dude, this is going to be all over the place. Like us having to fucking tackle Bobcat on live air. And he's like, what are we going to do? And fucking Arthur and like Larry look at each other, smile, and just are like, yeah, dude, this is because it's the dream. Like that happening, that has to be the dream, Steve.
They got exactly what they wanted. Larry and Art. Everyone's pleased because, as we know, Matthew, controversy sells.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because this is for the cool. And also in 1994, Fresh premieres. Death and violence anger a 12-year-old drug courier who sets his employers against each other. Directed by Boaz Yakin, starring Sean Nelson, Giancarlo Esposito, Samuel Goat Jackson, and N. Bush Wright.
Yeah, and this is like a ghetto, like, crime movie. This is good. We were talking about this. We just didn't have the time to watch a full movie, but this is a good movie. You should check it out. It's good.
Yeah, and you know, I guess it's supposed to be loosely based on reality, man, as far as like the crack epidemic in New York, and I believe this was set in Brooklyn, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Yeah, but
And
it's got some hitters in it. Like it's got Giancarlo, it's got fucking Samuel L. So you get it's got some hitter, and I think like we were discussing this. I think Boaz Yakin, he had some association with Quentin Tarantino and shit too. So
Lawrence Bender.
Lawrence Bender, that's what it was.
Yeah.
But I think Boaz Yakin actually, there was some connection there other than that. But Lawrence Bender produced. Lawrence Bender was Quentin Tarantino's like famous producer. But this movie, it's on the level if you've seen like a Paid in Full, it's on that level. I feel like it's good, but it's kind of long.
It definitely got some critical acclaim, man. Samuel L. Jackson plays the main character's dad, you know, and they meet up downtown at the park to play chess. And, you know, they use the chess game as a metaphor for what's going on in the young kid's actual life, you know, being a drug courier. I wouldn't say it's far fetched, but this was a reality in the 80s and 90s, man. Like kids that young, 12 years old, even, and some younger, being carriers and couriers, man, for drug lords.
I mean, I don't think that I ever bought drugs off of a little kid, but I definitely, this was like, it had like to me some like sort of shades of like those episodes of The Wire when you were dealing with like the young like street level kids and stuff. Like you got to see some of that, but like you said, like chess shit, I remember like with Samuel L. Jackson, he's really good in this movie. There's some good stuff in this.
Yeah, he's an alcoholic speed chess pro.
And I feel like Giancarlo's like sort of like a pimp or something. Like he's just like a gangster in it, isn't he?
Yeah, and he gets basically he gets Sean Nelson's character hooked on Smack, Fresh's character, his sister. And he feels a certain way about that. And you know, he's kind of like his protege in a way, one of his many proteges, kind of. But like once he sees his sister and like the condition she's in, man, he does what he can. He's telling his dad about like what's going on, sorta, kind of, not telling the full truth. And Samuel L., like I said, he's an alcoholic, so there's not much he can do for himself. He's got like these saved games at his house, wherever he's staying at. He's got this game, he's playing with this guy, got this game, playing with that dude. He even has a game where he's playing against himself. So he's obsessed with chess.
Isn't there a really intense scene in like a staircase where Giancarlo Esposito like threatens the young dude, Fresh, whatever his name is? Like I feel like there is like some scene in there where he like pulls a knife on them or some shit because he thinks that he's trying to fuck him over. Maybe I'm fucking remembering it, but
well, that's I think towards the end. But I don't think he ever pulled the knife on him.
It might be another character. I just remember Giancarlo like muscling up on somebody and like giving him like a speech like, yo, don't fuck with me. And he has like he's got like an accent and shit in it. Doesn't he have like a Puerto Rican accent or some shit?
He's Puerto Rican. Yeah.
Clearly I've seen it, guys. I know that. How would I know if I didn't see this shit, Steve? So go back, watch that staircase scene and get back to me.
No need to be defensive. But in 1995, Microsoft Windows 95 was released to the general public in North America. And the genesis of modern day internet is here. It has fully arrived.
Microsoft 95, Windows 95. What were you thinking, Bill?
What are you thinking?
Yeah, dude. Microsoft. I mean, this was the shit. This is when everybody became a computer nerd. We all had Windows 95, Steve. We all saw these screens.
This is it. This is it. What started.
And soon I would be looking at porn pictures that loaded incredibly painfully slow. But still.
Man, you ever like bust an auto like while it's loading? It's just like, oh, it hasn't finally
to like the idea of what it's probably gonna look like. Yeah.
Because you saw the thumbnail, it was like, yeah, this is gonna be the one.
Or like the blur, because it would like load blur, it would like unblur, right? Yeah. So like you'd get the face, it'd be like, oh, there's half a nipple.
She's got me.
God damn it! Is that? The garage is coming up.
No, damn it! Now I feel twice as pathetic. I couldn't even fully get the. Damn it!
Yeah, there was a lot of hidden folders on that home screen of some porn that I didn't want anybody to find, and these were good times. Porn was much harder to get. Even it was available, but you had to wait. You had to. It was like you really had to have some patience. Now I can just go, whatever. I'm not gonna reveal my kinks, but whatever it is,
Back in my day, we had to download the JPEGs.
56K internet used to take me 5 minutes to bust a nut.
Speaking of busting wet spots, in 1999, Christina Aguilera releases her debut album. And man, I know I popped a Jimmy or two on that one.
I flipped a Jimmy on that one. Yeah, she was hot, Steven. I feel like she was the one where it was like, she's a little sluttier than the Britneys and the Mandy Moores even later on.
Yeah, Christina. Who's your favorite new kid?
Call me Jimmy. Call me Donnie.
Yes. Hey, I don't care about her music, but I just always thought Christina Aguilera was a hot one, man.
She used that, dude. She was in Maxim. Remember Maxim magazine? This is how fucking pathetic guys were. She was in one where she was like in her tube. She was in a pool. And she used to be the hottest one. I don't know what happened, what Christina's like now, but I think she probably, of all the ones we're mentioning, at least against Britney, she did better, right? She was on the
music wise.
Yeah, I feel like she did better. She was a diva.
Yeah, she never had any like scandalous things coming out besides dating Fred Durst, I guess. But
she dated Fred Durst, Steve.
Didn't she? Did she have? There was a thing with her and like Eminem. Like I don't know what that was.
My way or the highway. Yeah, I mean maybe she did it. That makes sense.
Chocolate starfish and the hot dog flavored water. Didn't that have some kind of innuendo about her?
I think actually that was the thing. I don't want to besmirch Miss Aguilera, but I think wasn't it she smelled like hot dogs?
Is that so there's some truth.
Allegedly, details, I don't know. I fucking made that up. I don't know.
Smelled like mush. But also in 1999, Puff Daddy releases Forever. And I just had to skim through this, man. And this actually had some bangers. Before we had DJ Khaled, we had Sean Combs, Puff Daddy. And the thing I'll give the edge to Combs over, like he's Combs over. I give him the edge over Khaled because he actually rapped. He actually performed lines that he performed himself. And, but with that being said, this thing is flooded with cameos. I'm talking about Jay-Z. I'm talking about Busta Rhymes, posthumous lines from Notorious B.I.G., Lil Kim, Kelly Price, Carl Thomas, Redman, Busy Bone, G-Dep, Sauce Money, Shine, Beanie Siegel, R. Kelly.
Take that. Also, one thing I feel like Sean Combs needs to get some credit for revolutionizing the quality and style of music videos for a certain time. Like he made music videos like movies, and I don't think people were doing those Hype Williams rap videos like he was. I don't know whose idea that was, but I got to give him some credit for that. But dude, Sean Combs, Bad Boy. I don't remember this album itself, but it sounds good, and I loved Bad Boy for a long fucking time.
Well, this is the one that had the R. Kelly song, Satisfy You. He don't even treat you like I do.
Oh.
He don't understand you like I do. So bring it to me, because I can show you about a real life, and I can promise anything. All right.
Bad Boy.
Here's that dude. Say what you want about Diddy, but two things are for certain. One, have that man sugar cookies on time, damn it. And two, he is that fucking dude.
It's authentic breast milks. How can you deny it? As far as like success, he's it. I mean, it's him and Jay-Z, and I don't know who. I guess Jay-Z probably has more money, but it's neck and neck. I mean, Diddy could own the world at this point. I mean, he owns Ciroc, he owns all that. He owns so much shit. He's like, to call him any like a music producer. He's like a mogul now. It's like multi-tiered shit, you know.
And also in '99, POD releases the fundamental elements of Southtown. And man, this is that new metal era, man, when like there's just tons of cats coming out from the woodwork, man. A lot of it I caught on to. I fucks with some POD.
Fuck yeah. POD was like that shit for a while. They got into the mix hardcore. And shout out to also POD because Kendra would yell at me if I didn't mention that one of their main songs, the Youth of a Nation song, the We Are, in the video, they cut to a bunch of kids and stuff. And that video was shot where she's from in the desert bullshit of California. So I think they're desert trash. And I love POD. I mean, I think they had like a Christian bend to them. Like they were somewhat affiliated with that, but that didn't clock. They were like hardcore enough. You didn't give a fuck about that.
They didn't force feed it to us, which I appreciate. You know, I could appreciate the fact that you have a Christian message and like it's got good meaning behind it, good purpose behind it. But you know, don't.
Yeah, don't jars of clay us like he is the one.
Hey, man, the Scott Stapp, hey, man.
Yeah, it's true though.
Pal.
But Scott Stapp wasn't telling you that shit either. He was just fucking looking sexy and just with arms wide open. But POD was that shit, Steve. They were fucking killing it. You'd listen to a little Limp Bizkit, pull the CD out, throw a little POD in it. It could go back and forth. You could deal with
Southtown.
Hell yeah.
And that same day, Seven Dust releases Home. There's their second album, and this is the one with Denial and the album title Home.
Denial is the shit though. There's a bunch of good ass songs on this, and Denial, as soon as I heard it, I got into Seven Dust. I saw Seven Dust in Toledo. And
I was with you.
Exactly. Great show. I'm sure it's still a great show. I love Lejean. He was one of the coolest like lead singers of this generation, I feel like too.
Totally.
But yeah, Denial, Seven Dust, I'm all in. I hope they're still I hope they're still good because I loved Seven Dust back in the day.
Dude, that'd be awesome if we can make it to a Seven Dust show, man.
Hell
One
yeah.
of my favorite bands from this era. One of my favorite bands of all time, man. I fucks with Seven Dust heavy. And also in that 99, a lot of albums came out in 99. LFO released their self-titled album. And that's the one with Summer Girls. And I hate these guys. I hated that song. Just looking at them, you just want to punch them repeatedly.
I like girls that wear Abercrombie and Fitch. Punch me and I got an itch. The guy on the left that looks like the Italian stallion dude, I was like, that guy especially has a punchable face. All these other guys got just pulled from like a catalog audition and just, you know, can you lip sync? Okay. I do think two of these guys are dead, Steve. So I think maybe we need to rest in peace. I think there was some tragedy that had befallen this band. Like they were cursed, or maybe Abercrombie and Fitch cologne had some sort of like cancer causing agent. But I do think a couple of these guys actually died, sadly.
Are you sure about that, or is this wishful thinking?
I don't know if it's wishful thinking, but I'm pretty sure if you look it up, I think LFO, there are 2 men down. There might be one guy still left that can sing this shit, but nobody wants to hear it. So.
Yeah, well, Brian Briz Gillis, he died earlier this year, March 29th, 2023.
So that's it. There's 2 of these guys left.
Devin Lima, he died in 2018, November 21st.
I'm not gonna be back this summer because I'm dead.
Rich Cronin, he died September 8th.
Damn, these motherfuckers all died. Like, what did you guys do? Their tour bus ran over a gypsy. Thinner. Dude, yeah, LFO though, this was like the cheesiest of cheese. Like everything has to get ripped off or like replicated. You know, we had Backstreet Boys, we had fucking NSYNC, we had fucking the Lachey dude, whatever that was called, 98 degrees. And then they kept making these things, and this was one of those things. They had Abercrombie and Fitch. People love that, I guess, but man, you know, time actually took care of this one, Steve.
Man, and we'll just leave it at that. And also in 1999, Lou Bega releases a little bit of mambo in my life. I hated this fucking song so much. I wanted to kill someone over it.
This was like on the level of Macarena. It's like roller skating rink music, and then you just don't want to hear it, you know. But shout out to Lou Bega. He can rock a suit. He can rock the hat. He does that shit. He made some money, I hope. Probably not.
Get them sound scan checks, man, as much as you can. But also in 99, Noriega releases Melvin Flint, the Hustler.
Is this the one with the Neptune song? What? That's not this one, no.
No, but it's got some hits, man. It's got Oh No, and it's got was it Paid in Blood, I believe, part 3. It's got a feature from Missy Elliott and a couple others, man, but it doesn't beat its predecessor. But also in 99, Filter releases Title of Record, and this is the one with Awake on My Airplane, Awake on My Airplane. It's a dumb song, but it grew on me.
My skin is there. Yeah, this is some cheese ball shit. And like I said before we hit record, the video made me not like the song more for whatever reason. But you could definitely, this is like a nice that song is specifically, that was like a make-out song, I feel like, you know, like that's some shit where you're just like laying back on a futon just smooching, Steve.
And I mean, what was the other one too?
I feel like a newborn, kicking and screaming.
No, that was the same song. It was the other one was like, you drink yourself a nice cold beer, everything is A-O.
Filter can get Filter was badass, Steve. Filter, hey man, nice shot. Some of it was good, some of it was bad. I liked this album though, and I had this album. This was in the CD booklet, Steve. So shame on me for talking shit because I was rocking it.
Any callbacks, honorable mentions, or takeaways, good sir?
I just want to figure out, somebody write into the show, tell us, do some deep diving for us. What was the thing with ducks in the 90s? I want to know, was it some sort of like demonic satanic shit that we don't know about or just not clued into, or why ducks? And I guess that's it, Steve. That's all I want to know. Why ducks? Leave it at that, short and sweet. How about you?
Man, once again, I just got to say 1990, man, y'all really dropped the ball with those movies, man. I'm talking about Men at Work, Delta Force 2, Dark, man. It was all right. Witches was very weird, and I don't know if that is considered a children's movie. I mean, it's Jim Henson, so I imagine it is, but like children should not be watching that movie.
There's a lot of shit we shouldn't have been watching in the 90s that they were cool with, Steve. And I think that's why a lot of us are all fucked up in the head, you know? We watch Witches and fucking it tainted our brains. We thought Blank Check was real. And turns out, Steve, not.
But this is for the cool. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Please tell your sister that this is for the chill. Please check out Food Show Fanatics with Matt and Kendra. Check out Crushcast on Wednesdays with Kendra. Check out our boy Clark the Shark, Councilman Clark. And don't worry, be movie with the man in Wade. This is Steve G and Matt G with Happened in the 90s.
This is for the cool.
I said, give me a hell yeah!